I hear pretty commonly from leaders is how do I stay positive while leading organizational change? I think this is a really interesting question. It's something that I've heard over and over again. And I think the reason why it comes up is because a lot of times the change that we may be responsible for leading or for implementing with our teams or the people that we work with directly are things that weren't our idea, maybe that we don't agree with, and that we may have some concerns about and be implicated in as well. So one organization I worked with, this question came up over and over again in relationship to a restructuring that was happening. And so there were leaders who were responsible for bringing their teams through that restructuring process. And they didn't know themselves if they were going to continue to have a job or if their job would look the same after that process had finished. So, of course, it's really natural to wonder how you can stay positive and lead your team through something like that effectively when you don't even know how it's going to affect you personally. I wanted to put together this short video series for folks who are going through that kind of situation. So if you are leading some kind of change, you know that it's important to stay positive and optimistic in order to help your team navigate through that successfully. I've put together some tips to help you with that over this three-part series. So to start with, let's just begin with acknowledging kind of what's implied or that subtext in the question of how do I stay positive. So we're probably asking that because we aren't feeling positive right now and we feel like there's a need to. So if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, you're confused, you have doubts about the change, how can you put on that positive face and lead others? I think the solution to this is that to begin with, this is something that you can't fake. So it's not something that you can just psych yourself up, fake it till you make it, and just try to appear positive when you have your own misgivings. People can feel that incongruence. So if we're saying that we think this is a great idea and we don't believe it, if we're saying that, everything will be fine and we don't believe it, there are going to be clues that show up in your communication regardless of how positive you might look on the surface, people are going to notice and sense that you don't genuinely feel that way. Some of those clues come off in the way that we are speaking. So if we have, we might be saying all of the right words or the words that have been provided to us by HR or whoever is managing the change from a central location. If our body language doesn't look aligned or congruent, if our vocal tone or our energy shows something different, those are the clues and the cues that people are going to pick up on. And those are the things that transmit kind of our sense of positivity or negativity about the change. So my first piece of advice would be don't try to fake it. So if you are feeling a complex range of emotions about the change, the first step is really to acknowledge that. So we can't fake it. We need to actually be authentically positive about the change in order to bring those benefits into the organization and help us move forward. That is easier said than done. So I'm going to share a little bit more in the next video about how to get yourself a little bit closer to an authentic positive alignment with the change, even if you're feeling doubtful that that's possible at the moment. I'll see you soon.